not been in here before?
Thank you very much. Oh, yes, I was hoping we had water. I'm thirsty.
Working up a sweat out there, you know?
My calves were hot.
She's just warming up for practice.
Gotta warm
We
the
gotta
hands
get
up.
if we end up in the practice gym in the spring, then we need to get the basketball going.
Yeah.
Pre-practice basketball again.
Lightning.
Yeah, I gotta work on some things.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Maybe wearing shoes that'd be the first thing.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think my dribbling skills are pretty good, though.
There's something. It's that.
Are we ready to go? Ready to go? Perfect. All right, welcome in this afternoon. We got head coach Brent Crouch, sophomores Akash Anderson, and Kendall and Kemp. Coach, maybe just start off on your thoughts on the draw and what to expect from Western Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, the draw is the draw, right? You got to beat who you got to beat. So I don't have real strong opinions about that. But Western Michigan is a really good team. You don't win 30 games and not be good. It doesn't matter who you're playing. It's really hard to win, and to win that many and only lose 2. They're impressive. They've got 4 seniors and grad students in the starting lineup, and so they're seasoned. They're experienced. The coach has been there quite a while, 15, 20 years. They've been in the NCAA Tournament 4 or 5 times under her coaching. And they do not look like a team to me that's just going to be happy to make it, and show up and have an experience. I think they're going to be coming in expecting to win and fighting, and they look really, really scrappy when we're watching them play. They're do a couple things that's unique. That play, Kendall does it not so much for us this year, but she can. She runs slides behind the setter where your setter's front row. We run behind, jump off of 1 foot, and kind of fade a little bit to the right and hit the ball. And when you run that well, it's really effective, and they run it really well. And they also run it lightning speed. So the tempo to the pin, it doesn't look like this. The set, it looks like that, So we're going to have to do some stuff differently to slow that down. And the setter is, I believe, second in the NCAA in assists per set. And she's not scared, all right? She is 20 feet away from the slide, and she just fires it all the way across the court, and they connect on it. It's really impressive. But they've also got some serve-receive issues that I think we can really exploit, and that's the best way to stop any middle fast attacks is just serve them when they pass off the net, and then they can't run it at all. So I'd much rather do that than have you trying to chase down slides or Madison, because they can do a good job with that. But it's a good team, and Louisville is obviously, they were in the finals last year. And I was just watching them this morning. They're good and athletic, and but they're not unbeatable at all. I was watching them play Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech lost to them in 4 in that match I was watching, but they were deuce sets, and they're going to be good. It'll be a challenge, but we for sure, if we play well, we can beat them.
Brent, just kind of a silly question, but in your own words, what is there to gain, especially against Western Michigan? You can talk about playing a potentially Louisville, depending on how their first round game goes, NCAA tournament, runner up, and like you said, how big the crowd could be there too.
Yeah.
Just what is there to gain in this first match that you guys, obviously you want an NCAA tournament win, but what is there to gain?
We're on a 3-match streak right now. Even though we're 2-1, we've played 3 really good matches in a row, and that's been something we've talked about since the first weekend, right, Kendall and Akasha, about consistency. All right, and so building some more consistency. I think that's the big takeaway. Okay, let's make it 4 in a row where we're playing really well and we're clicking. And I just think when you play a lot in the row really well, the confidence gets really, really high. And so win or lose, that's what we obviously want to play our best game. But if we win and play well, then I think our confidence is going to be really high heading into Louisville, which we'll need.
Yeah, and for the players, kind of the same thing. We can start with Akasha, but just kind of a silly question, but just in your own words, what are your goals for the postseason this year? Like, what do you want to get accomplished?
I want to win. I feel like that's the concrete answers. I want to win, but obviously, like he said, we just want to play well. We want to play confident. We've been playing super well these past 3 games, just playing more clean Auburn volleyball. So I think just capitalizing on clean volleyball that we've been playing and continue that through the NCAA tournament, I think will just be honestly a win in our books as well, because we've been working on that a lot, is just playing clean and putting, medium balls up to the net and, just really working on small things that really go a long way.
Yeah, I think I've never been to the Yum Center, but I know that there is a big number of people that can go in there. So I think just playing in front of one of the biggest crowds we're gonna play is gonna be very good for us to gain that experience of learning how to do that. And then, like Cash said, just figuring out how to play Auburn volleyball in a new environment.
I guess my question is, you've wrapped up the regular season, get ready for postseason play here. What's the biggest thing that all three of y'all have seen from this team that you wanted to work on in preseason and you've seen yourselves get better in as the season's gone on?
You guys go first.
I think for me personally is just growing in my confidence as a player, and then adding a bunch of new girls to our team, learning how to play next to them, and then just growing as a team, and then being able to get these big wins that we didn't get last season, and just learning how to grow as people and players.
I think something we talked about a lot at the beginning of the year is just having this depth on this team. We have a lot bigger of a roster than we did last year, so having people that can step into roles when there are people injured, or there are people not performing, or there are people sick, or just things like that has been really important this year. I mean, we've had a lot of people miss games, and we've been able to still pull out wins without key players, and I think that that's really important to see how this team has come together and just work together to pull out wins, even when maybe we don't always play next to each other, but it's like a familiar feeling that we all feel all the time.
Yeah, I mean, heading into the season, that was the almost number one concern for me, is how do we manage a roster with 18 players? It's not an abnormally large roster. I think the average in the NCAA is like 17, so we're kind of right at the average. It was abnormally small before, and but all the players when they come in, they're the best on their teams, in high school and in club. And last year the roles were really well defined, and there really wasn't a lot of there was zero competition for you, right? And at your position, and adding good players, young freshmen, but then also transfers who had been there before, and played on high-level teams. I'm like, this is going to be the issue this year, is how do we manage the chemistry and how do we keep the culture going in the right way. And so we talked about it a ton in the spring, and we've been talking about it. But, it's been critical for us to learn how to do that, like you said. But also we've needed it, with all the injuries. It's been, I think, 42 missed matches from starters combined, and 16 different starting lineups. If we didn't have 18, we would have been in real trouble. We would not be in the position we're in. So people stepping up, I know I'm repeating what they've said, but I think they're right on. People stepping up and doing whatever role they need to, and then working through the ups and downs with that, because there for sure are on every team, trying to figure out the roles and so on. And I really thought heading into the last 2 weeks of the season, especially, the team took a step forward in that regard, and we saw that. We had a nice team meeting after Mississippi State. I know I mentioned that meeting a lot because I thought it was such a big deal, where it just, everybody kind of came together and kind of refocused and reset, and put aside any kind of lingering, like, I wish I was starting here, or I wish I was doing that. That it just went away, and we saw the results. Those last 3 matches we played really, really well. Yeah.
This is for any of you guys, but just last year you played in the tournament, had the big win against Creighton. How much does that help now? That was all new for you last year. This year, it's not. You guys have been there, done that. Just how much does that help now going in this tournament and having that little bit of experience, just kind of seeing what that was like having a postseason?
Personally, I think it's really cool the position we're in this year. We went in last year, one of the last 4 teams into the tournament, having to play a top seed and essentially being the underdogs, which obviously, we conquered that. But this year we're in a different position where we're not necessarily the underdogs, but we get to continue to show what Auburn volleyball is and playing our clean Auburn volleyball, and we get a really cool matchup in a really cool place, and I think that it'll be really cool. I didn't want to use cool up, but I think it'll be great, and I think it's different than last year, like the situation that we're in. But I mean, we're not as young as last year, but I think that this team is still just as close, and I think we want to work just as hard. So I don't think that's different.
Yeah, last year our team was mainly freshmen, and we hadn't been to the tournament in a minute. So I think going into that, we didn't really know what to expect. But coming back this year, we have a little bit more idea of what we're headed into, and I think we're, again, in a cool position to be playing in the Center. I know Fallon's super excited about that. So I think it's just going to be a very exciting experience.
I just wanted to ask players real quick about Madison getting all SEC. What is that like to see that for her? We can start with you, Akasha, and y'all's classmate as a sophomore, and I think there's a lot of injuries and lineup changes, but she was kind of a steady presence. So, just what has she meant for you guys this year?
For sure. So Madison is my other outside right, and so I think me and her have a really, really special connection, being the same position and constantly working together and like making one another better. I mean, we're always either in practice, after practice, doing extra reps. We're always like hyping each other up, and whether or not she gets a perfect pass, and I'm just hyping her up, and like we're doing our footwork right. It's like really, really exciting to see that she is recognized for that. I mean, she's done some great things this season. So it's been really, really cool to see that, and I think like the sky's the limit for her. So I'm really excited to see what she does in this tournament too.
Yeah, I'm just really excited for her. She's always smiling on the court. She's one of the hardest workers in our gym, and just for her to get that, I'm just so happy for her.
I got one more for Brent.
Yeah.
How cool has it been? But how cool has it been to see this Auburn family and Auburn fan base really kind of? I mean, I know you probably touched on it, the crowd Sunday and everything else, or Friday, Friday. But just seeing them embrace this team and volleyball, it's been a long time since we've had that, and I'm just curious as to just how, for you as a head coach, you only been here how many years, but just seeing that grow and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no words for it. It's incredible. I wish the players here, these two, and all that they came in with them, had the perspective I do over it, because I don't think I know it's better, and you hear the crowd, and it's different than when you guys were freshmen, but it's more than that. All right, the change is much bigger and deeper, and so I'm incredibly proud of it. I wish you guys could see what you're doing for the community. I mean, I know you hear it, a little bit, but I just have the longer perspective, saw it before, and just the amount of people that talk to me about you all, whether it's my neighborhood or whether it's, I ran into somebody after our game against Arkansas who was at the game, and she stopped me and talked to me for like 25 minutes. Like, I could not get away, but she was just, she's like, I've been to every game, this is we just love it. We didn't know anything about volleyball, and we've been going for a year and a half now, and it means so much to us in the community, and we love the players. They're the greatest, and like, I hear this stuff all the time, I hear it all the time. That was just the most recent one, and people like you want to come talk to us. That was not happening before you guys were here, okay? Alumni, donors, like you name it, people in upper administration on both sides in athletics, and I get to see this more than you guys. You get to hear the clapping and all that, which is awesome, and we want that, but it's so much bigger and deeper than what you guys kind of realize, and what you've done here is unbelievable. It's you guys that are doing it. I'm just, I don't know, yelling at you occasionally, but you're doing it. It's unbelievable. So.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool, yeah. Thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you.